Hi there, and welcome along. I want to ask you a quick question. Have you ever been on a project and you felt like that it's just a grind and you're not sure what you're in this for, other than just, holding your job down and getting the paycheck at the end of the month? Well, this isn't uncommon. This is a very common situation. And if you're a project manager and you feel like this, well, I've got some information and tools that I want to share with you so that you can get out of that for yourself. But more than that, you're working with a team of individuals, and there's going to be a fair proportion, quite a high proportion of people that actually feel in the same way. And of course, what that's going to be doing for your project performance is it's going to be dragging it all down, because you've got people there who feel disconnected from the project. They're not really sure what they're in it for. What's in it for me? We've all heard of that phrase. But what if I was to say to you that if you're able to align the purpose that your people hold within themselves as individuals, align that with your project purpose, just think of it. Just think of what that will do for your project performance. So I want to share with you a few things today that I think that could be really helpful for you. So the hard truths on your project. So you're going to have people that are just ambling their way through, feeling nonchalant about their role, not really putting the best of themselves, their best foot forward, but just really quite passive in their way through the project. And then you're going to get individuals that are really isolating themselves from the rest of the team, and they can be quite often quite roguish. You're going to get a few of those, especially in the larger projects, and the people that you don't know so well. So this is one of those relationship-oriented or lack of relationship building can create this kind of roguish behavior. And then you've got the passive people that they're unable to tap into that self-initiative to be able to lead their way through the projects. But like I said, when you've got people like this, it drags the productivity down. A lot of the members in your team are going to notice these people because they're forever carrying them through the project to keep their momentum up and keep their good work at a high level of quality. So let's do something about it. Let's flip this around so that we can actually, get a more high-performing team going by actually getting to know the individuals of our teams a lot better. And this is what the way is. This is the way that I want to show you, because you want to have individuals that are working deliberately. They're completely focused on what it is that they're doing because they want to be there. And they've got their own purpose in being there, in showing up every day. That's underlying motivation that they have. And then, of course, the performance. They're going to be highly engaged and focused, turning up with a forthright meaning in their projects. They'll be more enthusiastic. They'll be a much more cooperative team player with everybody else that you've got working within your teams. I mean, isn't this what we want ultimately? Because at the end of the day, you want to have, as a project manager, I'm a project manager of 25 years in the engineering and construction industry, and this is what we strive for. If you're a project manager who wants to tap into their own agency beyond the influence of your organization, the employer of you and the client, take the initiative yourself to get to know your individuals and bring the best of them to the forefront of your projects. So what I do normally when I share this with my clients is that we go through 5 high-value key principles. But I just want to quickly, I know I want to get through this quite quickly, but I want to show you just one of them. The first one that we talk about is that we must engage in, as I've mentioned earlier, we need to engage with individuals. We need to be interested in each one of our people, whether you've got people on your projects who are direct employees of your organization, or whether you've gone out to, you're working with contractors or consultants, it doesn't matter. You want to be focused on what you can do to bring the best out of every individual that you've got on your project. Don't leave it to the systems and processes of their organizations. You take that onus on for yourself and you'll get a much better performing project. Now, this is the core that I want to talk to you about, is the meaning springboard. And what I mean by this is that you've got the unique opportunity with every one of your projects to utilize that project as a vehicle to support the individuals and help those individuals grow and so that they can achieve their own personal goals and ambitions. But if you're able to frame it in such a way that you can show each member of your team that you understand where they want to go with their careers or with their lives in the next 3 to 5 years, and what they can get out of the project that you're assigning them to through a way of creating roles for them, that they can get those benefits from that, that's going to develop them as humans, as individuals, as professionals, and help them strive through their career and to their own purpose, their own meaningful goals that they've got as ambitious people. And just a quick example of that. I was working very closely with an individual on a strategic project that I was working on, and there was this young guy called James, and he was at the end of his tether. He'd been knocking about this organization, moving from role to role, not really being able to get something that he's happy to grab with both hands and bite into. He never really felt like that he was getting much out of it. He was in this state of mind where he was coming in, turning up every day, clocking in, couldn't wait to clock out, just because he wanted to get the paycheck at the end of the month. And he was so frustrated with this kind of lifestyle that he'd had at work that he was ready to go and look for something else, something outside the organization. He was ready to up and leave. And this is the same problem that we experience in the engineering and construction industry so often, where people are just upping and moving across, looking for that next shiny object that's going to invigorate them and give them that spice of life that we're all looking for. But anyway, with this, I found that this strategic project that I was working on, I sat down with this project, within the context of this project, I sat down with James and I wanted to understand. I really listened to him. We took a good few minutes to get through really understanding what it was that he was interested in, what motivated him, and where he wanted to be in the next few years. And we amalgamated all of those factors, and we looked through the project, and to find out what we understood what the roles were that we needed to undertake to do this project, and we found something that worked for him and worked for us as the organization, as the client within this strategic project. And it was a perfect match. I gave him the attention that he needed to help upskill him and what was needed in this, but he really took to it. He took ownership of that role, and it really allowed him to prosper for his own benefit as well as for the benefit of the project. Now, look, who wouldn't want some of that? I think that there's a real message here, which is to say that every project can be a transformational vehicle for every individual that you've got on your project. Now, the other components of this, the 5 principles, is we talk about a balanced focus on how every project manager, looks upon themselves as where they can best apply value to the project through what they're doing. This is a bit of an overview on where they can add the most value to get exponential results. And then we talking about a play to win mindset, which is the antithesis of a play not to lose mindset. We go into, the statistics around that and the psychological aspects of it and how it benefits, the pros and cons of both. And then this is about decisive ownership. This is how we can instill or allow people to tap into their own agency and own their part of the project, step up to the level of authority that they want to aspire to become. And by giving ownership and pushing this decision-making down as far as it can practically be moved to, rather than centralizing every decision that you've got to you, the project manager or the project director, that's very limiting. But you're going to get much better uptake of momentum and productivity by allowing people to take ownership of their parts of their role, of their parts, their contribution to the project. So next, I want to talk to you about a major part of what we show our clients in the how aspect of this program. We talk about you're welcome to this template, to this worksheet if you like. This is something that we give to our clients, and it's called the Right Fit Blueprint. Now, you remember James that I spoke about earlier. This is pretty much what I went through with him. It's a 15-minute discussion with your individuals to find out how, what their aspirations, interests, and experience are. You'll know a lot about what their experience is, but not so much about their aspirations and interests, which are critical parts of all of this. So yeah, the first step is to ask and sit and listen about what it is that they're aspiring to become. And then we talk about what their interests are. And finally, interests are things that they want. This is more of a present day question. Where can they feel excited about applying themselves? And then there's that capability. You'll know a little bit more about that through their the technical kind of CVs, or how well you know them as individuals. But part of this is understanding where their strengths are, because there's quite often organizations, they want to focus in on what people's and individuals' weaknesses are. But there is scientific data that proves that you'll get much greater productivity, much more high-performing teams by focusing on what these individuals' strengths are. Absolutely critical. And then finally, as part of all this, how you round this off to see where these people fit in to the project is by looking at the resource requirements plan of your project. And this is where you can target the roles that you've got, and you can do a little bit. You don't have to be so black and white about allocating specific roles. If you're able to do this in an intelligent way, you can bring the best out of your individuals. It doesn't take a whole lot more work, but you're actually, allowing people to take on roles and responsibility that align with both the project and, importantly, with their own goals and aspirations. That's how you get the best out of people. It's a perfect opportunity. And then finally, I want to talk to you about how we actually take this right fit blueprint, and we apply it to how people are going to actually embark upon this project. These are very simple concepts. This doesn't take much more time for you to apply, but the benefits of it, the value that it adds to your people and to your projects is exponential. So first of all, as part of the condition of working with, on this project, is that you're, as a project manager or as a senior engineer, or if you're in one of these positions, then you want to ensure that the people that you're working with understand that you're there to support them. And then you're also there to deflect or absorb or deal with, manage the top-down interventions that come down from clients, from stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders, and we've got a whole program based around that. Yeah, get in touch with me if you want to know any more about that program and how you can deal with this umbrella part of dealing with stakeholders. And then this is where you want them to understand that you're going to take it upon yourself to help these individuals fulfill their ambition, fulfill their goals, while they're also fulfilling the roles and responsibilities that they've got on this project. So that's what this part of the overall triangle is about. And so for your team members, and remember this is on an individual basis, for your team members to be successful, they need to step into these attributes. And now the bottom building blocks that we go through are about understanding the expected attitudes and commitments for embarking on this project with you. And they're all built, they're not just a top-down directive, it's an understanding that by undertaking these elements, by enacting and you know, becoming the person that actually fulfills these roles, that these kind of attitudes and commitments are a two-way responsibility. They're not just a top-down directive. And then the next level up is how to communicate and collaborate. And these elements right here are about just elevating the importance of collaborating and communicating well with your peers, and also with you as the team leader, or the project manager, or the senior executive, or the CEO, or whatever role that you're playing in this project, or the project director, whatever. And then, of course, right at the very top, it's all about we mentioned it earlier in one of the key principles, which was how you can take ownership of your decisions, rather than just being somebody who follows the directive, the top-down directives, and waiting and sitting around and just fulfilling the work that you've got within your radar, and waiting for the next task to get dropped down for you to act on. This is about leadership and knowing how to communicate up and outwards to your client, to your key stakeholders, in terms of what you, or as the individuals carrying out this work, they will know what the right thing to do is. So they will, you know, advise of intention rather than asking for permission. So that's pretty much what I wanted to go through. Now, the whole purpose of this is that you've got something tangible that you can go back to your project with immediately and begin your implementation. So that's what my goal is for you, is to have something that you can take away with you that's valuable, take it away and implement straight away in your project. So where to next? If you want to get a copy there's a guide for all of this that I can put together for you, a quick guide, step-by-step understanding of what we've just gone through. And if you want to have the worksheet, you know, the right fit blueprint, then you're welcome to that. Just drop me an email in there. If you want to know anything more about the program, then again, get in touch with me on an email. You can also get in touch with me on LinkedIn. And well, that's it from me. Just keep it short and sweet. All the best, and I look forward to the next one. See you then.